Hello students, welcome to Compulsory Studies in English Language class. Today I am going to start teaching unit number 4 and the first topic that I shall deal today is speech act theory. So far we have finished the first 2 units in our syllabus. The third unit is on pragmatics. I shall deal with pragmatics later when we finish unit number 4. So in today's lecture, we will study speech act theory. I have already given you the syllabus of unit number 4 on our WhatsApp group. The other day I sent you a photograph of unit number 4 and today we are going to study the first topic in unit 4, that is speech acts. And there are direct and indirect speech acts. Now what are speech acts? Speech acts, the name itself suggests you what is it. Speech performs actions. Generally, human beings perform actions, but sometimes speech performs certain actions. So speech act theory was developed from the basic belief that language is used to perform actions. Meaning and action are related to language. So the basic belief that language is used to perform actions. I shall give you examples of it. So meaning and action are related to language. The next premise is speech acts is equal to actions performed via utterances. So when we make apology, when we complain, or when we give compliment, we are performing certain actions. So our speech, our expressions, our words, phrases, etc., they perform certain actions. They apply to the speaker's communicative intention in producing an utterance. The speaker expects that his or her communicative intention will be recognized by the hearer. So when you use speech acts, you expect that the listener will recognize your intention and will perform certain actions. So recognizing the speaker's intention, recognizing the implied meaning of the intention and performing certain actions are the keys of speech act theory. For example, in the other lecture I gave you an example. Suppose I come to your home and if I say I am thirsty, now you should understand the implied meaning and certain action should be performed by you. So you should understand that I need water, so you will bring me a glass of water. This is speech act theory. Both speaker and hearer are usually helped in this process by the context, that is speech event. So context is important. Context decides what action will be performed by the hearer, by the listener. Context will decide how will the listener understand the speaker's message. If I say the same sentence to you in the classroom or maybe somewhere we meet in the town, I am thirsty, you may not be able to perform the same action because the context is different. You are not at your home and you cannot bring me a glass of water quickly. Correct. Another example would be when you see red signal, you stop your vehicle because that is the context. The red signal, the traffic signal, makes you stop your vehicle. So it is stopping your vehicle is the correct action performed by you at a traffic signal when you watch the red sign. But you do not stop anywhere where you see the red light. No, because the context determines your actions. रस्त्यावर ट्रॅफिक सिग्नलचा लाल दिवा बघून आपण गाडी थांबवतो, पण सगळीकडेच लाल दिवा आपल्याला दिसला की आपण गाडी थांबवतो का? नाही थांबवत, कारण तो कॉन्टेक्स्ट तिथला इम्पॉर्टंट आहे. तुम्ही कुठे आहात, त्या ट्रॅफिक सिग्नलचं तिथं असलेलं महत्त्व, या गोष्टींमुळे आपण आपली व्हेकल थांबवतो. तर यानुसार स्पीच ॲक्ट थिअरी, हे स्पीच ॲक्ट थिअरीचे प्रिमायसेस आहेत की meaning is deeper inside the sentence. Sometimes you have to dig out the meaning. You have to understand the intention of the speaker, and then you have to perform certain actions. So this is speech acts. Now speech events may also include speech acts. J.L. Austin observed that many utterances do not communicate information but are equivalent to actions. So J.L. Austin was the main exponent of speech act theory, and according to him, many utterances do not communicate information. Language is basically used to convey messages, to communicate information, etc. But certain utterances are equivalent to actions. For example, when I say I apologize, I promise, I will, at a wedding, in a wedding, in Christians you have to say I will accept him as my husband, or I will accept her as my wife. So it is a kind of promise. I name this ship as Elizabeth, or I name this ship Queen Victoria. As soon as you say this sentence, the ceremony is done. The name giving ceremony to the ship is done. Or when you say I apologize for my mistake, the action is actually performed. No physical action is done, but certain things have happened. So saying is doing. When you say something, you do something. That is the basic premise of speech act theory. Now see, there are performatives. Austin called such utterances performatives. Which utterances? The utterances like these. For Austin, these are performatives, which he saw as distinct from statements that convey information. Constative. So there are statements which convey information. For such sentences, he gives the name constatives. For example, I live in Baramati. This is a statement. It gives you information. So it is a constative. But Austin says that certain utterances are performatives. For example, when someone says I Christian, or I name this ship the Queen Elizabeth, the action is performed. That is, giving the name to the ship is done by this sentence. ज्यावेळी असा एखादा फॉर्मल फंक्शन असतं, प्रोग्राम असतो, एखाद्या मुख्य अतिथीच्या हस्ते आपण एखाद्या सेमिनार, कॉन्फरन्सचं किंवा एखाद्या इमारतीचं उद्घाटन करतो, एखाद्या चर्चासत्राचं उद्घाटन होतं, अशा प्रकारे एखाद्या जहाजाला नाव दिलं जातं, त्यावेळी त्या प्रमुख व्यक्तीने, अतिथीने अशा प्रकारचं वाक्य बोलणं अपेक्षित असतं. आय ख्रिस्टियन, दॅट इज आय नेम धिस शिप द क्वीन एलिझाबेथ. ॲज सून ॲज दिस सेंटेन्स इज सेड, फ्रॉम दॅट मोमेंट ऑनवर्ड्स द शिप विल बी कॉल्ड बाय क्वीन एलिझाबेथ. सो हिअर द speaker has performed an action. So this is a performative sentence. Second sentence, Maurice Garin won the Tour de France in 1903. This is a constative statement because here no action is performed with the help of the statement, the sentence. This sentence gives you certain information. It talks about Maurice Garin winning the Tour de France. That's all. So the second sentence on the slide is an example of a constative, a sentence which just gives information. But the first sentence does not give you information. It performs certain action. So performatives cannot be true or false. Second sentence can be true or false. You can find out on the net whether he really won Tour de France. But first sentence you cannot say it is true or it is false because it shows certain action. You cannot say that the first sentence is correct or the first sentence is wrong. The first sentence is true or false. You can judge the second sentence in terms of true and false. Then Austin further goes and says that there are explicit versus implicit performatives. So have you understood performatives? Performatives are statements which perform certain actions. Actions are performed with the help of verbs like I name, I apologize, then I promise, I will, etc. So performatives are like this. Now, what are explicit and implicit performatives? Explicit performatives are performative utterances that contain a performative verb that makes explicit what kind of act is being performed. So in explicit performative you have a certain performative verb which makes it explicit, that is, which makes it clear what kind of act is being performed. For example, I apologize. Here the performative verb is to apologize. As soon as you read the first part of the sentence, you understand what action will be performed. So when I say I apologize for my mistake, you understand that I am saying sorry. So explicit performative has a performative verb. This is a performative verb which makes it clear what kind of action is being performed. For example, I promise to come to your talk tomorrow afternoon. So promise is the performative verb and the sentence makes it clear that the speaker will definitely attend the other person's talk. So this is an explicit performative. Now what are an implicit performative? Implicit performatives are performative utterances in which there is no such verb. For example, I will come to your talk tomorrow afternoon. Now there is big difference between these two sentences. I will come to your talk tomorrow afternoon. There is no promise. Whereas in the first sentence, in this sentence, there is promise. So the speaker guarantees the listener that he will surely attend his talk. But in this kind of performative, in implicit performative, there is no such guarantee because there is no such verb. The verb promise is an assurance, whereas I shall come or I will come to your talk tomorrow afternoon is just a general statement. No assurance has been given. So there are explicit versus implicit performatives. Now what are the explicit performative verbs, or which verbs are used as explicit performatives? So you can see the verbs on the screen. I apologize, I promise, then agreement, acceptance, I accept, I advise, I suggest, I warn you, I request you, I bet, to second, to vote, to abstain, etc. These are the verbs which are used as explicit performatives. That is, with the help of these verbs, we use or we perform certain actions. Now, see the first example. I order you to clean your boots. Now, in the first sentence, I order you, the direction is already given. The message is clear. So you have to clean my shoes. That is the meaning of the sentence. Implicit performative. Clean your book. boots. See, this sentence, clean your boots, is implicit performative, whereas the first sentence, I order you to clean your boots, is explicit performative. Direct instruction is given in the first sentence. In the third sentence, there is no instruction, there is just a kind of suggestion, clean your boots. You can understand the difference between the first and the third sentence. Then, the assumption is that underlying every utterance there is a clause containing a performative verb, which makes the function explicit. So in this kind of sentence, where you have explicit performative with the help of verb, you have an utterance where there is a clause containing a performative verb. So this is a performative verb. Order is a performative verb which makes the function explicit. That is, it tells you or it tells the listener what he or she has to do. So this is a sentence having explicit performative in which there is a performing verb. In this example, order is the performing verb which makes the function explicit, which makes the action clear. So the message from the speaker is clear to the receiver. So the receiver has to clean boots. In the third sentence, it is not clear actually. I mean, the speaker does not explicitly tell the listener to clean the boots. Clean your boots. You can get your boots cleaned. That could also be the meaning. तू दुसरीकडून तुझे बूट्स क्लीन करून घे असा सुद्धा त्याचा अर्थ होतो किंवा होऊ शकतो. तुझे थर्ड एक्झाम्पलमध्ये तू तुझे बूट क्लीन कर असा एक्सप्लिसिटली सेंटेन्सचं म्हणणं नाही आहे. देअरफॉर द थर्ड सेंटेन्स इज अ काइंड ऑफ अ वेग स्टेटमेंट. आय हिअर बाय that is, it is a VP, that is performative, a verb, you, that. These are some kind of sentences. So explicit performatives, for example, या प्रकारच्या सेंटेन्सेस मध्ये स्ट्रक्चर कसं असतं बघा. द सब्जेक्ट मस्ट बी फर्स्ट पर्सन सिंग्युलर, दॅट इज आय. द वर्ब, द ॲडवर्ब हिअर बाय, इथं बघा हिअर बाय, then indicating that the utterance counts as an action by being uttered. I hereby. Hereby चा अर्थ काय इथं? Hereby is used as an adverb which indicates that the utterance counts as an action by being uttered. That is, मी याद्वारे, आपण मराठीत अशा कन्स्ट्रक्शन वापरतो ना की मी याद्वारे जाहीर करतो. So hereby is used as an adverb which indicates that the utterance is an action. Then you have performative verb, I hereby declare. Right? म्हणजे हे सेंटेन्स बघा किंवा हे सेंटेन्स मी कसं कंप्लीट करू शकतो. I hereby declare that the seminar is over. आता मी इथे डिक्लेअर करतो की सेमिनार संपलेला आहे. बरोबर ना. आणि आपण म्हणतो बघा किंवा तुम्ही ऐकलं असेल, जो अँकरिंग करणारा असतो ती व्यक्ती सांगते की नाव आय हिअर बाय डिक्लेअर दॅट द फंक्शन इज ओव्हर अँड विथ द परमिशन ऑफ द गेस्ट्स यू मे लीव द ऑडिटोरियम, किंवा विथ द परमिशन ऑफ द गेस्ट्स और विथ द परमिशन ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट I hereby declare that the seminar is over. So in this kind of sentence, hereby is used as an adverb which suggests that the utterance should be considered as an action. Then a performative verb is used. Then performative verb in the present tense and indirect object. So this is the construction of a performative sentence, a sentence which performs action. Now the next subtopic in the first unit of unit number 4 is felicity conditions. Now what is felicity condition? For an utterance to perform a certain act, some appropriate conditions have to be fulfilled. Technically, they are called felicity conditions. So, in order to complete certain actions, you have to have certain conditions. Without those conditions, you cannot perform those actions. Those conditions are called as felicity conditions. For example, felicity conditions for the act of ordering. The sender believes the action should be done. म्हणजे एखादी ॲक्शन घडण्यासाठी कोणती कंडिशन किंवा कोणती सिच्युएशन असायला हवी बघा. पहिली म्हणजे काय, द सेंडर बिलीव्स द ॲक्शन शुड बी डन. सेंडरला असं वाटलं पाहिजे, मेसेज देणाऱ्याला असं वाटलं पाहिजे की ॲक्शन कंप्लीट व्हायला पाहिजे. द रिसिव्हर हॅज द ॲबिलिटी टू डू द ॲक्शन. द रिसिव्हर should be in a condition to fulfill the action, to do the action. The receiver has the obligation to do the action. रिसिव्हरनी त्याच्यावरती ऑब्लिगेशन असलं पाहिजे, बंधनकारक असलं पाहिजे ती ॲक्शन कंप्लीट करण्याचं. अँड फोर्थ, द सेंडर हॅज द राईट टू टेल द रिसिव्हर टू डू द ॲक्शन. ते सेंटेन्स म्हणणाऱ्याला किंवा लिहिणाऱ्याला तो अधिकार असला पाहिजे ती ॲक्शन लिसनरकडून किंवा रिसिव्हरकडून पूर्ण करून घेण्याचा. आपण उदाहरणं बघू. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, आय थिंक युअर बूट्स नीड क्लिनिंग. इन दिस एक्झाम्पल द फर्स्ट फेलिसिटी कंडिशन is fulfilled. That is, the sender believes the action should be done. I think your boots need cleaning, Jones. तर फर्स्ट सेंटेन्समध्ये द स्पीकर इज टॉकिंग टू जोन्स अँड द स्पीकर बिलीव्स दॅट दिस ॲक्शन शुड बी डन. दॅट इज क्लिनिंग Jones' boots should be done. Now the first sentence does not tell you who will clean the boots, but of course the meaning is implied. The speaker wants Jones to clean his shoes. So I think your boots need cleaning, Jones. In this sentence, the sender of the message believes that the action should be done. Then second example, I'm bloody sure you can get your boots cleaner than that, Jones. Here, the second felicity condition, this one, is performed. The receiver has the ability to do the action. So, the speaker knows that the receiver, that is, the listener of the sentence, has the ability to perform the action. Therefore, he says, I am bloody sure, I definitely know that you can get your boots cleaner than that. Your boots are clean, but you can make them cleaner than that. So, indirectly, the speaker tells Jones to clean his shoes again. You are supposed to come on to parade with clean boots, Jones. So you will see in these examples almost same message is conveyed by the sender or by the speaker, but different sentences are used to fulfill different conditions. So in the third sentence, the receiver has the obligation to do the action. In this sentence, the receiver is Jones, the listener is Jones, and the speaker tells Jones that you are supposed to come onto parade with clean boots. So maybe Jones is in defense or he is in NCC, something like that, and the speaker tells Jones that when you come to parade, you have to come with clean boots. So, who has the obligation? The listener has the obligation to do the action, that is to clean the shoes. So you will see in these sentences context is important. For example, here the context is Jones maybe is a soldier and Jones is attending a parade, and his senior tells him that your shoes are dirty and when you come for a parade you have to come with clean shoes. So the condition should be understood. Who speaks the sentence and what is the condition? Jones has to listen to the Jones has to obey the um, Jones has to obey the sentence. So whatever the message has been conveyed to Jones, Jones has to take it, Jones has to accept it. And fourth condition, it's my job to see you have got cleaner boots than this. Here, fourth felicity condition is performed. So the sender has the right to tell the receiver to do the action or to get the action done. So in the fourth sentence, the sender makes it explicit, explicitly tells the listener that it is my job to see you have got cleaner boots than this. So it is my job to make sure that you wear clean shoes, cleaner boots than this. So please get your boots cleaner than this. That is the meaning of the sentence. So again we will see what is felicity condition. See, this is felicity condition. For an utterance to perform a certain act, some appropriate conditions have to be fulfilled. Technically, they are called felicity conditions. So, to perform certain actions, there should be appropriate conditions to be fulfilled. There should be appropriate conditions, like here, we saw here condition 1, condition 2, condition 3 and condition 4. In these conditions, the listener or the receiver has to perform certain actions because the context determines what the listener will tell the speaker, what the speaker will tell the listener and what will the listener do. So in these sentences, Jones has to perform certain actions because it is obligatory on his part. Thus, in felicity condition, the context determines actions. The context tells what the receiver has to do or what the listener has to do. So, in these examples, the sender sends messages, the sender says certain sentences to Jones, and Jones has to act accordingly. Okay, we stop today. In my next lecture, I shall deal with the next topic in the fourth unit, that is speech acts. I hope you have understood what are speech acts and who introduced speech acts, J.L. Austin. What is the basic assumption behind speech acts, and you must have understood what are felicity conditions. I shall soon send you my next lecture on speech act theory. Thank you.